I don't want to do this. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kiljadis. How's it going? And I am an extremely grumpy Raider fan. Let me try to get this intro out of the way. Welcome to the Sensei 7 stream. The Sensei 7 are a bunch of like-minded Raider fans who wanted to get together and just to talk about our favorite team, the Raiders. And we decided, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and put this on YouTube as well. So if you're watching, thank you for hanging out with us and everything. So we are not like any other Raider team, or should I say Raider fandom. This is not a lighter trip to the dark side. This is strictly dark side, especially how it is today. We're going to call a spade, a heart, a club, a diamond, a diamond. Not only that, but we're also going to respect each other's opinions. You know, just because any of you or any of us have a difference in opinions, we're not going to put you down and say that you know nothing about football, because we are fans, and no one is an expert unless they do it professionally. Therefore, we treat each other with respect, unlike other content creators that are on YouTube that rep the Raiders. With that being said, welcome. The Raiders are going. The other Sensei 7 are going to be joining me and whatnot. The Raiders have came off to a 2-game winning streak. Basically, just starting a win streak. And we went to Chicago to play the Bears. You would think that the Bears would be a simple matchup. We would be able to go in there, do our business, get the win, for a comfortable win, and get out. Any regular team would be able to do that because the Bears are down bad right now. Their defense is not the same since they had to get rid of Khalil Mack. Their offense is not the same because they just can't get an offense to save their lives. Not only that, but Justin Fields was injured, did not play. And it didn't matter because, after all, no OSU quarterback has ever succeeded in the NFL. Justin Fields is the typical OSU quarterback. Instead, we go up against a quarterback who is undrafted and not only that, didn't even play Division I football. He played Division II. Now, granted, we did not have Jimmy Garoppolo because he's made of glass. He was hurt. So McDaniels decided now's the time to put in Brian Hoyer. And you would think that maybe at least Hoyer could do something. Anything with this offense. Let me go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Let me go ahead and settle in here. There it is. Why not? Let's just go through the final score. Here's the final score. 12-30. 12-30. The Raiders lose. We are now 3-4. Absolutely embarrassing. I thought losing to the freaking Colts with a high school head coach was bad. No, this. Why is it that this freaking team has to go and be like hell they are and have the most embarrassing losses ever in the entire history of the NFL? This was shades of how it was with the 49ers the couple of years ago, where suddenly this unknown quarterback shows up out of nowhere and just starts slapping the crap out of us, giving us an absolutely embarrassing loss. I can't remember what the quarterback's name is. I am at a loss for words of this. Well, let's just face it, all right? No, there are some things I just gotta say. You know what? I am done. I am done. Get me off this freaking Josh McDaniels ride. I am done. Stop the ride. I want to get off. It is not working. The run game is not good. The passing game is stupid. It is freaking conservative. There is no balls on this freaking offense. And the defense is even worse, and I am defensive minded. Therefore, I am harder on the defense than it is the offense. The defense could not even stop a freaking leak, even if it was 1 inch wide. The fact that the Bears were able to take their absolutely horrible offense and input it and be successful with it on a quarterback that is undrafted and played Division II football. Is this really how it's going to be today, Raiders? Is this how our team is going to go from now on? Absolutely horrible. Do you know who beat this team? The Broncos did. The Broncos. You remember them, don't you? You remember the Broncos? The team that's supposedly worse than you? Like, am I insane here? We go and we beat the Broncos. The Broncos barely skid by against the Bears. And now you decide to get absolutely stomped by these guys? Is this really how it's going to be, Raiders? I don't care if I have to do this show all by myself. Josh McDaniels better be walking home. Josh McDaniels, Patrick Graham, every single coaching staff needs to be walking home. Every single player better be walking home except for Mad Max Crosby. Mad Max Crosby better be flying first class, business first class, back home. Absolutely embarrassing. 30-12, man. There was no fight in the team at all. Devontae Adams being a complete diva, wanting more and more touches. Well, you got your touches, and we still couldn't get the job done. What are we supposed to do? Besides having an offense that is completely just either targeting Adams or Jacoby Myers. Every now and then they'll target someone else, or they'll do a check down to frickin' Jacobs, in which Jacobs can't even run a proper game because the O-line can't even stop a fart. The autumn wind is no longer a Raider. The Raider is no longer an autumn wind. It is now an autumn fart. It stinks, it is unpleasant, and it needs to go away. absolute horseshit. Why don't we go ahead and move on? I mean, why is it that Mad Max Crosby is the only one that is putting forth effort in this game? This guy is running his butt off, trying to make a play. Why can't the other players be like that? Huh? Let's move on. Let's just move on to stats. Here's the stats for this game. As you can see, I compare the two team stats. After that, we do the Raiders stats. We don't compare the player stats for the Bears because it's not that kind of show. It could very well be something that's all by myself. Let me see if anyone's going to join me. Who knows? This could be a very short show. So let's go with the stats. Bears, total yards, 335. Compared to the Raiders, 235. Passing yards, 162 to 196. There's only two categories that we won. Two categories. One was passing yards. Then you got rushing yards, which is the tall tale of this entire game. 39 rushing yards compared to 173. They just ran over us. It was like a freaking hurricane that was going up against a paper tiger. Absolutely horrendous. Unfreaking real. Yards per play, 4.7 to 3.9. Turnovers, another one. Another big one. 3 interceptions by the Raiders. 3. Compared to 0. Once again, we're back to our old ways where we're just giving the ball away and we're not taking the ball away. Absolutely horrible. Time possession, 34 minutes and 6 seconds by the Bears compared to our 25 minutes and 54 seconds. And let's just give a hand to the Raiders. Good job to the Raiders because they only committed 2 penalties while the Bears did 9. But guess what? They still won. If no one joins me in this stream, I would completely understand. This is embarrassing. This is horrible. Let's just go. Like, seriously, do you not see these stats? 173. You knew the run was coming. You knew the run was coming, and you still couldn't stop it. Not only could you not stop it, but you couldn't tackle when you needed it the most. Those guys were shedding tackles like they were freaking shedding the skin off of a goddamn snake. Effortless. What is your major malfunction defense? So stupid. Absolutely freaking embarrassing. Now let's go ahead and go over to through individual stats. Passing, we got Hoyer. 17 for 32, 129 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I will give you this, Hoyer. The first interception was not your fault. Josh Jacobs should have caught that ball. That other one was on you though. Rushing, Josh Jacobs. 11 attempts for 35 freaking yards. Are you kidding me? Offensive line, you have got to do something. Anything. No touchdowns, 3.2 yards. Receiving, you have Devontae Adams, 7 for 57 yards, no touchdowns. Shout out to O'Connell and Myers for Jacoby Myers for getting the one touchdown that we needed, which was in garbage time. You go and you say, get me the ball, get me the ball, get me the ball. And then you don't, and then basically nothing is done about it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable offense. Unbelievable. Coach McDaniels. I want off this freaking ride. It is already too much for me. Turnovers, as you can see, 3 interceptions. Two of them by Hoyer, one of them by O'Connell. And sure enough, though the second one by the second one by Hoyer was a pick 6. Unbelievable. Then of course you have O'Connell. O'Connell's just, dear God in heaven. What are we supposed to do? Going to defense. No turnovers at all. Like, what do you expect? They ran the ball all over us. There was no passing. And many of these freaking running backs, they have really good hands. They keep the ball in tight, and you just cannot punch it free. But hey, you know what? Let's go over something good though. Sacks. Max Crosby got a sack, and Wilson got a sack. Tyree Wilson, our rookie, got a sack. Congratulations to him. And good job to Max Crosby, even though I need more. But then again, how can you sack the quarterback if they just constantly run the ball down your throats? Not being able to win the battle in the trenches and forcing them to pass the ball. Not enough. 2 tackles for losses. You got one from Kuntz and Nichols, bringing a total of 4. This is absolutely horrendous. Kicking. You got Carlson, 2 for 3 for field goals. Are you kidding me? What happened to that incredible accuracy that you used to have? What happened? Why are you missing that stuff? As long as it's 40 yards, no extra points, so that brings his point total to 6. Punting, you have AJ Cole. 2 punts for an average of 41 yards. And 2 of them inside the 20. At least AJ Cole did his job. As long as it's 43 yards. Good job to you, AJ Cole. Kick returns. Carter led the way, 2 returns, 25.5 yard average, as long as was 26. Carter led it in punt returns as well, with having 1 punt return for 18 yard average, which as long as was of course 18. So good job on Carter for his punt return. 18 yards is a decent kick return, or punt return, I should say. At this point, we're just grabbing whatever we can for positivity. You know what would have been great? Is that if we actually won this game. If we won this game, then we could have at least rode in high spirits into the next game, which is against the freaking Lions. But we didn't do that at all, did we? No, we did not. Instead, we had to get embarrassed, beaten by the worst team, the second to worst team in NFL, and beaten by a quarterback that played Division II football and was undrafted. Unfreaking believable. There is no excuse for this at all. Big Bass Raider comments in, just like the rest of the team in the crapper because of coaching. The whole team is starting to get the case of efforts. I wouldn't blame them. But then again, the entire team has been like this since the beginning. Mark Davis, we should have kept Pizzascia. That was our head coach. That was our real head coach. But you got sold by this idiocracy that someone who strictly runs a system team, like a system offense, can win. And all you see is a bunch of expatriate players come in and do absolutely nothing. Nothing. The teams that we should be beating were either losing or were barely beating them. And the teams that we should at least be competitive with are beating the crap out of us. I want off this ride right now. But unfortunately, it looks like we're probably going to go all the way to the end of the season for that. Thankfully, I have someone joining me now. Hopefully, he can make more sense of it, but then again, who knows? Aaron, the Q Dog Raider. After a long break, he is back with us.
I know, right?
Aaron, talk to me.
If I had a plastic bag, or I feel like a plastic bag, that way I can end the madness forever. But a paper bag, I would put it over my head right now. I was thinking about doing that, but I just decided just to take a shower and wash the filth of this unexcusable game off of my body. Only the Raiders and the Raiders alone are the entire NFL's homecoming opposition at this point. I mean, you put a big old circle. I mean, you might as well chalk up a W. If you're hosting, or if, God forbid, you're coming to Allegiant Stadium, um, you're going to beat us. We're terrible. We're absolutely terrible. There's only one dog on this team, maybe two. I give a Meek um, Robertson a little bit of a nod in that regard because he's got the mentality. He just simply does not have the physical tools in order to act upon them. Our team is leaderless, it's rudderless, and I'm not mad at the defense as a whole, other than the fact that fundamentally they do not tackle well at the point of contact. They just don't do that. They're in the right positions in order to make plays. They just simply don't do them. We had Madison come in, and he was spelling for a play or two. Then they ran a screenplay after the quarterback, this rookie from parts unknown, and he scrambles out of the pocket in back-to-back successive plays. And Madison, he came in and missed both open field tackles, and he's our Mike linebacker. That's your sole job, to make sure tackles in the middle at the point of contact. And he whiffed both times. I put it in the text chat that we have that the tone was set for this game whenever JJ whiffed on a check down play over the middle, ball tipped in air, and it was intercepted in our territory. We were down 7-0 at the time. And then for whatever reason, the Bears, oh man, they just amassed a whole lot of confidence in the run game, and we never recovered. We were systematically driven upon between the tackles, off tackle, virtually the entire game. And it just, it's damn ridiculous, bro. Oh, my content is brought to you by, um, normally
Oh,
I would be on tequila, but Dire Times, it's sponsored by a beer that rhymes with Feineken. So
ah,
here's to it.
all right. Well, that's our apparently that's our sponsor for today. Which we're gonna need that. We're gonna need several kegs of that. We're gonna need it by the gallon.
Yeah, I got a case.
We're gonna need it by the gallon with how this is. Unbelievable. How does it feel to be the team that to be a fan of the team that not only can lose to a high school head coach, but also to a
Yeah,
Division two undrafted quarterback? How does that feel, you dog? That
yeah,
we're the only
yeah.
team that can do that.
And not to forget to lose to a team that had signed a journeyman quarterback only 24 hours before game time last season, only to have him orchestrate a game-winning and crippling drive against us when his bags weren't even packed from coming off of the damn cart or coming off the street, man.
That
So
too.
that's a heavy 1, 2, 3, man. We are clowns, clowns. Send in the clowns.
Oh, I mean, well, that's why in the beginning of the stream I was playing freaking circus music. I was playing circus in the music. It wasn't the smooth jam that I of my creation and everything. No, I was going. No, we're going strictly to the. We're
The
just
clown
going to
music.
go with the circus music.
Sometimes the cosmos just dictates what it is the vibe has to be, and you're just a slave to it too. I mean, we're clowns. The universe knows we're clowns. The galaxy accepts that we're clowns. The cosmos, the known universe, parallels Raiders and clowns together. We are no longer the swashbuckling, fear mongering outfit that we all latched onto as youth. I mean, we are absolutely embarrassing. How is it that Mark Davis, And the question was posed for another organization that we draw heavily upon, that their iconic coach may be fired after this game if it didn't turn out the way that it did, and may not make it to season's end. Yet his understudy pupil and just mini me wearing a visor on our sideline can't even stack up to the piss poor performance that his mentor is doing across country. And we're cuffing this guy like he's the best thing, to come across since, I don't know, the snapback visor. I just don't get it. Why are we holding on to this coach? If it's a matter of dollars and cents, and usually it is, I think the nation can pony up a GoFundMe to get this fool out of our organization. There is nothing redeeming about this guy. He doesn't inspire. He's not a leader. He doesn't make adjustments, whether in game, whether at halftime. And we've talked about it, and I'll talk about it again. His clock management skills are severely lacking. This is the professional football ranks, the National Football League. And if you cannot manage the game clock in a manner to put your team in a position, not just to compete, but to give yourselves a chance to come back whenever you're behind the chains or down and score. Why are you holding a clipboard? Why do you have the headset? You are the head coach. You orchestrate the tone of the game, the means by which we play, where we make our stops, where we rally, where we audible. And this guy does none of the above. None of it.
No.
None of it. Hell, he doesn't even win the press conference. I'm down here in the greater Dallas area. And,
Mhm.
we used to have that coach, Red J.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention his name. But, you know, he would suck as a head coach. But the thing is, whenever he was at a press conference, he would win it. He'd string together all these multi-syllable words and inspirational quotes and infuse a little bit of football speak in between. And you know what? It would make it seem like, Ray J had a clue. But in actuality, he's an idiot. Now, he's even got a gig on, I think it might be Sunday Night Football now. I don't even look at McDaniels making it to to the studio or in the press box. He has no personality. So if your personality does not translate for your own personal gain, how in the world can it translate to be a leader of men? It simply doesn't. He is an absolutely horrible hire. I don't know the mysticism that our owner and managing partner, Mr. Davis, was wooed upon whenever they had that clandestine meal in Vegas. But I don't know if there was a pie chart that he just couldn't get beyond, or the dazzle of those coattail rings that he's got, because Lord knows they didn't win those rings up there in New England because of McDoofus. I love the nickname. They were
Mm-hmm.
in spite
Mm-hmm.
of. They were in spite of. They won most of those Super Bowl championships whenever they were down in second half, and then they just left it to TB12 to just cook. He would come back and make these improvised plays and things like that after the script was used in order to come back against the Falcons, to
And
come back and make a competitive against the Giants, to come back against the Rams, to come they down to.
and
They were mostly they were never blowouts. They were all comeback wins. To come back against, oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank
and
at this.
and not only that,
The bust.
according to an interview with Julian Edelman, the little rat that was used so much by TB12,
Yes.
he says that TB12 would constantly ignore Josh McDumbass
Yeah.
and change the play. That is why sometimes you see Tom Brady and McDaniels arguing on the sidelines, because
Why are they playing? I don't need your play. Why are they playing?
even the greatest of all time for now
Oh man,
for
I hate to
now
say it.
even he knew that Josh McDaniels play calling is stupid.
Suspect at best.
Suspect at best, exactly. So why can't we get a quarterback that can do the same? Oh wait, we got rid of him.
Oh no, no, no. Oh no, no.
Even
Do
though he,
not
even
bring
though
up
he, even though he
DC4.
didn't,
Do not bring him up.
he
He,
didn't, he didn't, even though he didn't have any balls to begin with.
there you go. If Josh McDaniels had arm talent, he would be basically the same guy as that quarterback down in New Orleans. That's the
I
only
mean,
difference between those two.
I
A
mean,
visor and arm talent. That's
look,
the only difference between the traits between Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels
look at,
X-Men.
look at this. Look. This is what we stacked up against. The a guy from the Shepherd Rams. Shepherd
Not
Rams.
those Shepherd
They
Rams.
they I know so intimidating. Division 2, located in Shepherdstown, West Virginia. Of the
Wow.
they represent as members of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, the dreaded and ever feared PSAC conference. Oh, it makes you just shiver. Oh,
Oh, West Virginia.
in West Virginia, Shepherdstown. That's who we got beat against.
No question. No question.
Not
It's
even
pitiful.
not not even from Western Virginia, not even a Virginia, not even a lesser form of Division 1 football. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Division 2, in which
Mm.
pretty much those schools are practically begging people to come onto their team as walk-ons. Hey, you're a
The more we
thug.
look back on,
That's about as equivalent as a community college going looking at someone off the street and going, "Hey, you look pretty athletic. Why don't you join the football team?
you're
Come
the
on
sign of
in.
this.
Come on in. Full ride scholarship."
you know, this guy, he probably could have been a star at Middle Tennessee State just to draw a school out of the hat.
Yeah.
And this guy went to Shepherdsville State in the football cradle that is West Virginia. My
Oh.
goodness gracious.
Oh. He was like, "Texas? Nah. Nah. Screw
Yeah, I know,
Texas.
right?
Football capital of America? Psh. Nah. Shepherdstown, West Virginia, with the Shepherd
And West
Rams."
Virginia's known for two things: cold and top-notch quarterbacks that can defeat the Raiders.
Oh, clearly they're
Maybe
cooking.
Tudor's biscuit world, but that's about it.
Mm,
Three things tops.
yes. Big Bass Raiders also comments, "McDoofus is the only clown on the Raiders." Well,
Hard to argue, but I know this much. We had kind of touched upon it in the chat, so let's go ahead and bring it to the video.
yep.
You know, a friend of mine who was rather grumpy, he texted, "I don't want to hear anything out of Devontae Adams after this game." He totally went Foster Moreau, open in the back corner of the end zone, virtually the same spot, two hands on ball, and it trickled out of bounds, incomplete for a possible game-changing touchdown. Unacceptable. You guys are professional football players, paid to catch a brown ball that is roughly 12 inches by 9 inches in diameter. Very soft, made of what's thought to be pigskin, but actually is cowhide,
Mm.
and is very soft to the touch in non-inclement weather conditions.
And it wasn't a
Catch
bullet
the
pass
ball.
either.
Both passes by DC4 and a Michigan State journeyman who shall not be named on this show. We're in the place to be caught. I don't know what it is that you do. You don't know what it is that I do. I don't know what it is that our audience does. But whatever you do for a living, when it's time for you to produce, that's why you're employed. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, whoever's paying you good money to provide that service or that product, you need to come up whenever the time presents itself. These professionals, I don't care who was looking, I don't care how many eyes were in attendance, how many cameras were broadcasting around the world. You have one childish task, and that is to catch a ball. And if you demand excellence of yourself, if that's the phrase that you're going to use in order to complain why you're not getting looks, touches, and attempts your direction, when it comes your way, you can't fumble it. This ain't no Taco Bell bag of 6 for 10. No, that ain't gonna get it. I mean, Devontae Adams, you are exposed. You are not a leader, and you're not going to be a Hall of Famer if you keep this type of act up. And Josh Jacobs, while you're hustling our conversation, if you're given a dump pass over the middle and you're commanding top tier money at your position and you can't produce just marginal production in a must catch situation because you hear the pitter patter of little bear's feet, I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up, too. Your two
If you
biggest stars
if
on
you
that side of the
can
ball, and both of you suck.
if you're gonna talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. And not
Oh,
only
yeah.
do you need to walk the walk, you need to
Walk like
walk the
10
walk
toes.
with
Yeah.
a swagger, with a purpose. At least Max Crosby does that. By the way, people, make sure if whoever's watching, make sure you subscribe to Max Crosby's podcast, The Rush. It's an amazing podcast, especially if you're a defensive minded guy like me. Yeah, it's amazing. Plus, again, it's Max we're talking about. Mad Max, our boy, who we are
While we're
wasting.
talking about the Condor, here's a stat for you, and I didn't even have to look it up. In the past 2 games, Max Crosby has scored more points than Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams combined in the past 2 games. 2-0.
Oh.
2-0 to nothing. That says it all.
uh, this game would have been so much better if at least the defense was at least putting up what they were supposed to do. I'd at least be somewhat like, okay, the offense just sucks. But instead, y'all got ran over.
Yeah. Our fat guys couldn't stop the run at the point of attack.
And once again, all I am seeing is a number 98 flying around the field, going after,
Double and triple team.
going
So
after.
if 98 is double and triple team, our fat guys need to go ahead and take advantage. And I saw where our number 1 draft pick, he almost came up with a sack. Well, this ain't horseshoes or hand grenades, partner.
Oh, he did come down with one sack, just one.
Should have had 2.
Should have had two. But the fact
Had
that
the
the fact
quarterback
that
in his grasp, and this person with this freakish strength couldn't pull down this Shepherdsville State success story. Oh my gosh, we lost to the Bears, bro.
the fact
We
that
lost to
this
the Steelers.
the fact
Both
that
teams were
this
down when we played them. We lost to the Steelers and the Browns. No, fuck it. If we play the Browns, we'd lose to them. But the Steelers and the Bears. Oh
the
man, we're the
fact
worst team.
the fact that
If
that
you're the worst, you are the worst.
we have
Just like if
this.
you want to beat the man, you got to beat the man. If you lose to the worst, you are the worst.
Yeah, the fact that the shepherd ram, when he scrambled and everything, you see all of these guys jogging after him, not sprinting, jogging. And then you have number 98 that's on the other side of the field, not only shed all of his blocking, but had to turn and run the other way and still also make it to the quarterback, says something. There is no heart in this team.
No, you can't say that there is, regardless of who
And
your
once
coach
again,
is.
and then you got these
You can
running
get wrong.
backs. Then you got these running backs who are getting up the field. And what do you see? You see number 98 sprinting, a full-on sprint, trying to catch up to him. Not a jog to go, oh, this guy gets him. No, he's going, I need to stop this guy. Because I don't know if this other guy is going to be able to do it.
Oh man, the word
Unbelievable.
is very
Look at
embarrassing.
this. Look at this stat here, right here, Q Dog. 173 to 39 in rushing. There is
Wow.
no heart. I mean, granted, you could have had this freaking, as I said this earlier, but you could have had this defense, could have had a field day on this little ram, this little shepherd ram.
Yeah.
All they had to do was stop the run. You knew the run was coming, and they
Yeah.
couldn't stop it. How are you supposed to rack up the sacks and the interceptions if that little shepherd ram isn't forced to throw the ball? If he could just
Well,
willy nilly just hand it off, and their running backs are going to at least get 5 yards a carry.
yeah.
What's the point?
This Bajent guy, he out there card Derek Carr. He checked down with a fervor I have not seen since last season. But his running backs, time and time again, bailed him out. And also, whenever he was flushed from pocket, he was able to roll out with accuracy and hit his receivers along the sidelines. So you put those two things together, and they continually chipped away for first downs whenever I guess they had their third down plays, whenever we pressed them into such, situations. But the first and second run plays killed us. And they were also in third and short for quite a bit of the game. And he was able to check down each and every successive third down play. And it was just very frustrating to watch, but we had no adjustments. I mean, I think our defensive coordinator, a lot of people want to jump on him. Listen, if you look at the stats, numbers, and actuality, Graham is doing an amazing job. He doesn't have the proverbial groceries in order to cook. If you got somebody that's your first tier defender, regardless of position, that cannot man that position, and you can't go to the cupboard and bring somebody and sub them so you can, basically take away time, which is the only real disciplinary measure you can take away from somebody fucking up, then you have to leave him on the field to continue to fuck up at a high sticker cost. So we're going to have to continue to revamp, but get better players on that side of the ball. There's nobody you're going to bring off the bench to spot Peterson. When Peterson's reaching and getting handsy, but not being in position and making plays, who are you going to bring off the bench? There's nobody to do.
No one.
I mean, whenever Merrick is, late to the ball, what are you going to do? Whenever Epps is not flying to be up and run support in the box, who are you going to call? Whenever you bring on Madison to to basically spell Spillane, and Spillane is hit and miss, I mean, you don't have a third linebacker to bring it in. When Diablo, he injures his ankle, there's nobody you're going to bring at the will linebacker that's going to be impacted. We have no depth. Our fat guys up the middle, they can't stop the run and they can penetrate on the pass. And then our rookie that we've got playing on the right side of the right defensive end position, I mean, all he's got is a bull rush. Well, new Sparky, you're not stronger than NFL offensive tackles. So that bull rush is ineffectual. And he has no second move. So whenever people look at Patrick Graham and say, oh, he sucks, get him out of here. Well, who are you going to get to dial up a better defense with shittier players? You're not. I don't give a dong if you get the reincarnation of, anybody that's a Hall of Famer. They're not going to be able to do anything with these defenders we have. Nothing, nothing, nothing. We suck on defense. Our offensive line is just regressed past the point of, redemption. JJ, I mean, I texted in jest, but hell, he's in preseason form, isn't he? Jesus fucking Christ. Then you have a questionable quarterback. Our strongest position group is receiver, but nobody can get him the ball consistent. Not on time. The completions we make, they're still reaching behind them in order to get the ball while they're in stride. The pass breakups we get because the ball isn't out on time. It's late, and it's often late over the middle. What do you do to dial up interceptions if you wanted to draw it up? You throw late over the middle. Even that pass to JJ where he should have caught it, it was late and behind him over the middle. Tipped, intercepted. I ain't making this shit up. This is basic stuff. Just basic stuff.
Well, either way, the defense got beat by what Big Bass Raider would say is the Bobby Boucher of Division Two. Well,
You know,
guys, here's our least favorite portion of the show now. It's going to be basically either the turd sandwich versus the bacon praise burger. I already know what I'm going with. I'm going with the turd sandwich. Aaron, what are you going with?
just to be accounted for, I'll go with the bacon praise.
Oh, you're going to go with the bacon praise burger.
Well, I mean, we can't do the same thing. We got to diversify the content.
Oh,
So
you're gonna
going with the turd sandwich.
you're gonna be like our counter. You're gonna be like our counterparts, and you're gonna be positive.
Look, I'm not against what you're putting out there. I mean, I agree with you. I
Hmm.
just got to play devil's advocate on this one. So
Okay, you're
here
gonna do that.
goes here goes the bacon praise sandwich. So
Oh, all right,
um,
all right. You'll be the.
uh,
I'll be the negative Nancy. You be the positive Patty.
we came out and we wanted to establish our star receiver. I think we committed to that early and it paid off. However, like a lot of things, we went away with it. So the negative portion is, again, we did not stick to a promising game plan. Once our scripted plays were run through, we really didn't have much insofar as an offensive attack. We went away from what was initially working to devote ourselves to something that was highly questioned. Now, looking ahead, um, I noticed that another team with an iconic uniform went with a black color scheme today in
Mm,
Indianapolis. Um, nice jazzy look, kind of infuse a little excitement with the kids and
mm,
sell jerseys and
mm,
helmets. Wouldn't mind seeing us coming out with a black helmet at some point.
mm,
Nothing else changes on the uni. Um, and I think that would be good for marketing.
mm,
So there it is. I gave you a positive.
mm,
We came out with a good scheme. A negative, we all too often go away from what's working. And from a marketing standpoint moving forward, because I really don't envision too many more wins. Maybe we can go ahead and make some, little adjustments to our merch and make some money to get some fan interest outside of the field or the arena. And that's all I got because we may not win, what, two more games. We may not win, but two more games. This was
mm,
the absolute easiest matchup we would have had all season. And here we are.
mm.
So let's hear about that
Well,
turd sandwich, homie.
so that was the bacon praise burger, people. So for those who don't know or trying to figure out what the heck we're talking about, basically think of it this way: if you have a coworker or a loved one or something like that, and you see them doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or something stupid, or something that's wrong, and instead of being like how it is in Anchorman and pushing them into a zoo enclosure that is filled with Kodiak bears, maybe you should give them a praise burger. And what a praise burger is you give them positive praise about something they're doing right, then you give them constructive criticism on something they can improve on, especially on the thing that they're doing wrong, and then you finish it up with positive praise. And that's what Q Dog did. Now the turret sandwich is the opposite. So, and I'm going opposite. So it's basically strictly criticism, and then I'll probably do a little bit of, I'll do one piece of positive praise on this, and that is, and obviously we can have a field day with this. It'd be one of those Whopper, Big Mac kind of freaking
Yeah. A
of a
day
turret
simple.
sandwich and everything, but I'll just keep it simple here. So I'll just narrow it down to only a couple of things. So let's go ahead and say this. O-line, you once again have failed us tremendously. It is going to be the talk almost every single god dang game that we have, that you decide that you're just not going to show up or not going to win the battle in the trenches. Therefore, our star running back only gets 30, was it 35 or 36 yards? Less than 50 yards. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? That is chump change. Our running back, our star running back, should be getting at least over 100 yards per game.
Yeah.
The
If
goal,
you're going to
the
commit to the
goal,
run,
the
you have
goal,
to sell out.
the goal is to get 200 yards a game.
Yes.
But
Yes.
you can't do that unless you win the battle in the trenches, and you didn't do that. Get better, get stronger, get tougher. I don't know what the heck you gotta do. You need to get the job done. Now, good thing here, Mad Max Crosby, dear God in heaven, we appreciate you. We appreciate your efforts. Seriously, there are times when I look at you and I'm just like, man, we do not deserve someone that is as hardworking and as talented as you. But here we are. Now, defense. You gotta play better. You gotta tackle better. You know the run is coming. You guys have got to get the run game on lockdown. Otherwise, every single team is going to run you over.
Not
So,
every team, just the Bears. The
yes.
Bears. The Bears.
Yes.
The Bears.
So,
The one and everything Bears.
there you go.
Just, they sunned you.
So, eat that and everything. So, next week, guys, uh,
I pray for a bye. Please let there be a bye.
no, unfortunately, we had the Lions. So,
Shit.
this is a loss for me. This is a loss. I am definitely gonna go with, I'm gonna go 10 to freaking 35. I'm gonna go 10 to 42. What do you got, Q Dog?
And what's this mess about Carlson missing field goals?
I don't know.
Probably our most dependable position group are our kickers. And now they're starting to stink it up.
Yeah.
So
So,
I wouldn't go with 10. Hell, he may not make a field goal.
well,
Oh my goodness, man.
so
I
what you
mean, there is
so what's the
very
score for you?
um man, they're gonna be playing on a fast track and we can't maintain drives. So I'm gonna go oh goodness. 13 to 45 Lions.
Okay.
They're gonna hang 40 on us.
All right. Well, you got any last words, Q Dog?
Yeah, I got some last words. Man,
Something
I
that's
can't stay. I hate the Chiefs.
uh-huh.
But I think the NFL gods hate the Raiders. I don't really see it because how long have we been watching these drafts and free agent acquisitions? Nothing, and I mean nothing since 2002 has worked out. Nothing. Even in that 2016 year. I
You know
mean,
what,
okay, yeah, we did well for 4/5 of the season, but nothing has worked.
Aaron?
I don't have any optimism.
Aaron,
Yes.
let me do this. Let me refresh the meeting here. And
All
then
right.
that way I can let you, because I feel it. I feel it in my bones. You are ready to go ham. So let me refresh this meeting. And then we will get freaking Aaron the Q Dog Raider getting his dog on onto this.
All
Onto this. All right. So we'll be right back with this break. Hold on, guys. All right. We got this thing refreshed. So here we go. Let's get the audio there. Hold on. It's thinking about it. It wants to connect your audio. Still trying to connect audio. Still trying to connect audio. All right. Still trying to get Q Dog on the audio here. Oh. Q Dog wants to pop up. I can see it. But he can't connect to the audio. There. Q, can you hear me? Q. 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 Ah. Hang on, guys. We'll get this thing taken care of. We'll have. right, Q, can you hear me? Let's see if it's still trying to connect your audio. Still trying to connect. Ah, there we go. All right. All right. Now that you got your warm up and everything, let's hear it, Q Dog. Floor is yours.
Okay. I appreciate the time. Um, when you look over the landscape of what it is to be a part of Raider Nation, there's really not much on the horizon that's positive. Our quarterback play is it's woeful at this point. Jimmy G, we all had a collective moan whenever the signing was announced, and there was no more assurity in life than him going out at some point with an injury. So since that crappy proposition came to bear, and we knew it was going to come to bear, the lack of foresight that we had with our brain trust in order to get a viable backup is mind boggling. I mean, absolutely mind boggling. The backup quarterback that we could have retained, we allowed to walk away and go to Denver. Why? That person was in the system. That person was younger. That person would have been a great bridge, even more so than Hoyer. Okay. O'Connell, yes, he's got some premier traits. He's got some qualities that parallel to TB12. He's not TB12. But for that matter, who is? So why are we playing Hoyer? Hoyer's best years were in his junior season at Michigan State. That was damn near 15 years ago. Why are we trying to latch on to something that never was? So we look at our running back group. Zeus is, I don't know, not the Olympian that we wanted him to be. JJ, we texted about it earlier. He is in preseason form. He is not hitting the hole with authority. He's getting shoestring tackled. He's being bunched up. And for whatever reason, it's almost like the defenders, even whenever they don't have a bunch of uh, linemen and linebackers shaded to one particular side, one on one, he's tackled in space. So he's averaging less than 3 yards, but he's averaging more than three gripes every time he gets a mic in front of him. It's time for him to pipe down. No matter if it was his fault, the Raiders' fault, or something in between, he's not bringing it this season. So we look at our position of strength, the wide receiver core. A la Foster Moreau on this past Friday evening, DA-17 had a wide open touchdown opportunity in the left corner of the end zone, which was thrown on time and hit both of his hands and went out of bounds for an incomplete. DA-17, if you're going to sit up there and, be petty and start talking yourself in the third person like you're Ricky Henderson, you expect greatness of yourself, you expect more opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And we came out with an opening game plan in order to facilitate your griping and complaining. Produce whenever it comes your way. That's it. No matter what you do in life, whatever your chosen profession is, be a professional. If you're expected to make donuts in the mornings, okay, fry them sons of bitches, glaze them, and put them out on a rack to be sold. Don't be late. If you drive a bus, keep your route, stick to that route, be on time with your route. Um, if you code or key, make sure that you code and key in accordance with the authorized programming and maintain the algorithm and maintain control of what it is that the data dictates. I don't know. If you sell stocks, pay attention to the market trends so that you could properly advise those people that you invest for. Whatever you do in life, I'm not even going to bring Congress up to it because they don't do their job. So the thing is, if you're a pro, be a pro and don't complain about things that you need to do as a fundamental prerequisite of what you do as a professional. And that's all I got to say. Jacoby Myers, pleasant surprise. He's been consistent. He's gone more Mac Hollins than Mac Hollins did last season, being there whenever a receiver needed to be there instead of, just wiggling around a whole bunch of braided hair and dropping passes when needed. I saw where number 13 got a couple of catches today. Let's trade him, please. If you're not going to use him, trade him. I like the energy that little 11 brings to the field, and he draws the obligatory pass interference. Why don't we do that more? Just send him on a go route, throw it short, and let him turn around, catching the defender off, balance, so we can go ahead and cash in for those long flagged plays. But that would require coaching. Our offensive line from tight end to left tackle, I don't know what those boys are doing. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue. I'm starting to really question the offensive line coaching because you don't have an entire position group plus one that consistently misses their key assignments. They don't double when they need to double. They don't pull when they need to pull. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Even when they have man on man numbers and they don't have a loaded box to go against, they simply cannot create for a so called all pro running back. Confounding. The defense, I have really not too many issues with the defense. I mean, I think our coordinator, Patrick Graham, is doing a remarkable job. When you hold all teams before this game to 21 points or less, that's amazing, considering the fools he has to work with on that side of the ball. The fools. You have individuals that are playing a kid's game that can't get the most basic fundamental of defending in any football game. You wrap up with your head up and secure the tackle. That's all you do. If you're required to break up a pass, yeah, that's something extra. But if the pass is completed, get your head up, wrap up, bring the defender down. If you are a middle linebacker, whether you're starting, you come in due to injury, when you have a Division II quarterback flush from the pocket running, and you are a professional middle linebacker, starter or second stringer, if you're on the field, you get your head up, you wrap up, and you bring down the offensive ball carrier. And guess what? Madison, he didn't do it not once. Then they threw a screen pass, and he didn't do it twice. Spillane had to limp back onto the field in order to make short tackles. Our fat guys, our defensive tackles, our 1 and 3 techs, they cannot stop the interior rush. They made this Foreman dude look like, well, I don't know, Jim Brown. This dude sucks. I mean, he sucked. Then you got Max, and then you got Wilson on the other bookend, and he got a sack and should have had two. He had both hands on the defender. His head was up, and he's supposed to have freakish strength, but he couldn't pull this kid down, and he just whirled the ball. It almost looked like Fitzmagic 2 seasons ago, whenever he was playing for the Dolphins, and he just throws the ball up, and Matt Collins, who was playing for them, catches a first down off of a sure sack. If you got your hand on the quarterback, pull his ass down. The quarterback must go down and go down hard. That's Raiders 101 right there. We do that. We used to do that. Our secondary, we were consistently out of position, and we made up for a lack of talent with a lack of talent, lack of talent with a lack of playmaking. I mean, we cannot break up passes. We had one pass breakup in the end zone by Peterson, but it was just Peterson being Peterson. He was just being handsy, and it just happened to get a hold of the wrist of the offensive receiver, and the ball went out of bounds. But it should have been a touchdown. We have drafted poorly. I don't want to hear anything else about, oh well, it's a good pick for the future. We need impact players now. 2 seasons ago, we had the opportunity to draft Micah Parsons. We didn't. 7 seasons ago, we had the opportunity to draft Vita Vea. Didn't. Last season, we had the opportunity to draft Jalen Carter. He didn't. We had the opportunity to draft Megatron. He didn't. We had the opportunity to draft Randy Moss. He didn't. We had the opportunity to draft Aaron Rodgers. He didn't. See where I'm going with this? The greatest of the Raiders is in its future. I just didn't know that it was going to be in the 2030s and 40s. I wanted a little bit of hope in his future in the 10s, right here in the 20s. There's nothing cracking in the foreseeable future. Josh McDaniels is so far over his visor, and everyone tends to see it except for our managing partner. He needs to smarten up. Cut your losses. Let's go fund this. Let's crowdfund this and get the money necessary. I got 20 on it. And if we can get enough Raiders to put 20 on it, we can buy out McDaniels. He could be gone tomorrow if it comes to it. But to be biblical, pride comes before the fall. Our managing partner needs to go ahead and shed his pride, cut his losses, and do what's right for the nation. Those rings that dazzled him at that clandestine meal that he had whenever he sat down with Ziegler and McDaniels, um, McDaniels had very little, Ziegler had very little to do with that. They were along for the ride. They weren't the impetus for those championship runs up in New England. Mark didn't know that. Mark loves the Raiders. I have no doubt in my mind that he loves the Raiders. And we love Mark. What we cannot stomach any further and what we can't allow to happen. Mark is humble enough to know that he doesn't know enough about football in order to make football decisions. Okay. You've made a bad decision. We need you as the leader of Raider Nation to humble thyself and circle around and correct the mistake that was made. Do that. You do that, and that's the first step towards us correcting a lot of sins that have transpired up to this point. You got a lot of content creators, and I'm sure they love the Raiders. I'll give them that. I'm not attacking anybody. You have a lot of pundits in the legitimate media that love to make fun of the Raiders, and we're fueling those monsters. But PR aside, we need guys that love football. We need guys that once become Raiders to love what it is to be a Raider. I think whenever we have the alumni luncheon every preseason, those guys, it ought to be mandatory attendance. Kind of like rookies with the mandatory symposium where you have to go through the training to know what it is to be a pro, to better put you on firmer footing to be a professional NFL player. So should the Raiders do so. We can pay them extra. You can have a bonus. You can call it practice time, study, away from field time, organized team activity, whatever. You sit down, you go to the video room, and we play you the visual chronological history of the Raiders that have come before you that made this organization what we maybe idiotically cling on to here in 2023. Give you a clue what it is that this silver and black really is about. Then we take you to meet the legends. Those legends are getting old now. You want to talk about the 72 Dolphins? Our legends are pretty much, long of tooth as well. They're not going to be around much longer. I am 50 years old. I may not be around much longer, and there's no promise of tomorrow. I may have seen my last Raiders Super Bowl. Let's think about that for a second. Can you imagine how just I may never see the Raiders win another Super Bowl. I don't know how to put this. It's emotional. Why do we care more than those Raiders care? You know what I would give in order to compete, wear that uniform, be on that 100 by 53 in the third, run out on that shield, look out into the crowd. Now, I made my athletic choices and it wasn't football because of other reasons, but this is their chosen way of life. They're taking it for granted. I can pretty much assure you that most of those 53 guys on that plane, they've already forgotten about it. They didn't give a shit. They can care less. They may care about their stats. They may care about their contractual bonuses for whatever stats they put up during the course of the season. And I'm thinking of DA 17. You may have grown up a Raiders fan, but you are a grown man and your Raiderdom is in high question, homie. You cutting harder for Taco Bell than you are for the Shield. Mean that. Josh Jacobs for, all of his humble beginnings. And you keep on hearing that word humble. What happened to that young, hungry individual that cried when he was drafted? Because he knew that him, his father, and his family would never have to live out of a car again. What happened to that dude? Hell, it wasn't a season. Hell, he getting liquored up after losing a game at McCarran Airport. Didn't even make it out of the damn parking structure without crashing his exotic, taking things for a little bit of granted, ain't you, homie? I mean, I was there whenever we drafted our first draft pick in the new era. We got Colton Miller out of the University of California, Los Angeles, right there. Shook his hand, touched him, was right there. And he's been solid. We haven't had too many more solid draft picks behind that. We have pissed away more talent over the years than the league should authorize. I mean, just absolutely pissed away more talent. And the so-called talent we got, are they held accountable for their actions? I don't think so, because we keep making the same mistakes week after week, season after season. We're continually undisciplined, both sides of the ball. And it just gets to be a bit much whenever you put all of this crap together and there simply is no North Star. We don't know which direction to go. Now, the clear answer, if you don't know what direction to go, look up, find the North Star, head that way, and you can get your bearing. But we refuse to do it. Mr. Davis, cut bait. We need to find a way in order to make this shit right. And the path we're on is not our true course of rectitude. It is not. You lose to the Bears, this Bears team, even if they did have their starting quarterback, Justin Fields, we would still have been favored today. Yet you let somebody that had a hell of a lot more heart than you and a hell of a lot less talent than you show you why you are the laughing stock of the league. That kid came out there with his curly mullet from West Virginia, and he just absolutely showed you why that preparation and the will to win are two things that left the Raiders organization a long time ago. You played against a defense that had been mollywopped in 4 other contests by teams maybe as talented as the Raiders, but not much more. And that defense locked you down. You've got an all-world kicker that couldn't even put it through the uprights but one time in the Windy City. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You had a young prodigy tight end that you only targeted 3 times, and he caught one for a first down playing in his own backyard. Well, if you weren't going to go to DA 17 like you wanted to, and Jacoby Myers is covering, why wouldn't you throw the ball over the middle of this kid who wanted to show out in front of his hometown? Why wouldn't you go to him? He was barely covered at all game. I watched it. No adjustments in game. There were no second half adjustments. Now, I touched upon clock management earlier. McDaniels has no clue about clock management, none. And for the second time in 3 weeks, he kicked a field goal whenever a touchdown was absolutely necessary early in the fourth quarter if you wanted to maintain leveraging what little time you had left in order to formulate a comeback. He couldn't do that. Brother, you're in your den and I'm on my couch and we figure that shit out. There's no way that you're going to get the ball back twice with a team that's running down your throat and dominated the clock in the second half and mostly parts of the second quarter. What logic are you operating on? What makes you think that you're going to get the ball back? I don't have the stat in front of me, but if you look at time of clock in the second half, by the time that you put that second field goal up, there is no logic on earth that lets you believe that you're going to be able to get the ball back and dictate a comeback. If it's not arrogant, it's just completely professional, just incompetence. You can't be a head coach if you're making those decisions. There's only one coach that that controls the clock, and that's the head coach. A position coach isn't going to call a timeout unless expressly authorized by the head coach. And you typically that's a defensive coach if there's somebody that's not set up. If you don't have a cornerback out on the field, okay, you might have a position coach might be able to call a timeout. Other than that, it's the quarterback and the head coach. But the quarterback doesn't dictate whether you kick a field goal or go for six. Just unbelievable. You know how many screens we ran today? We ran virtually no screens. So the pass rush was getting the best of us. We only had a couple of draws and we ran no screens. So we're not slowing up the defensive pass rush. Incredible. I think the majority of folks that watch this video or any video for that matter, they play Madden. Even if you are a Madden gamer, you stop the defensive pass rush with draws and screens. We didn't throw a single damn screen. Amazing. It's going to be a good quarterback draft next year. I like the kid Nix out of Oregon. He might be available whenever we draft. Caleb, he's going to be gone. But we need a top tier young quarterback. I'm not throwing O'Donnell under the bus. I think, or O'Connell, he can hang around. I think he might be good in time. But time is one thing. As a Raider fan, I think I am running out of. At this pace, I will be in a pine box before the Raiders win another Super Bowl, and I don't think that's cool, man.
And I'll be too old to enjoy it.
I really feel bad for my friend Uncle Mosh. I mean, he's really got to be gripping.
Well, he's probably talking up with Murph right now at RFR. They started doing post game shows now.
Oh, okay.
Try. I was hoping you could message him and get him over here, but looks like it.
Look, if you want Mosh, I can reach out to him. Yeah, I have access to him.
He already doing his thing with RFR, so we too late, man. Well,
Let's see if I send him a couple cannolis.
Even if then that's the problem is even if we somehow draft a stud of a quarterback, if we keep the coach that is in charge, he is only going to ruin him.
Yeah, it's like getting a new Corvette ZR1 and just leaving it in the garage. I mean, you're not really going to get the performance that you want out of it because it just simply is not road ready.
That's like
It's
that's like
terrible.
that's like getting a sports car and only driving it in the city and not even taking it onto the highway
That's right. It just
where
runs
you can where you
a
can like
quarter mile. That's about it.
yeah, you only drive it in the streets in the back alleys. You don't even hit the freeway. That makes no sense.
You got to do better.
Tell you. That was the Reverend Q Dog preaching to us about how it is, because that's how we do here in the Sensei 7. We call a spade, a club, a heart, a diamond, a diamond. Well, the Raider Nation, all we can do now, and that's the thing that we always gotta remember, is that we do have each other, Raider Nation. Even if the Raiders are gonna be like this and play like they're a high school JV or C team, at least we got each other. Misery loves company, and we are in misery now. I'm telling you. So that is the Sin City 7 stream today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Per usual and everything. I want to thank Aaron for coming on, taking time out of his day and whatnot. I got some chores that I need to get taken care of. But as usual, everyone, remember, just because the Raiders decided to not go by the Raider code today doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it either. All right? Let's have a commitment to excellence in everything that we do. Whether that be at work, whether it be with your spouse and family, whether it be your relationship with God, have a commitment to excellence. Also, Raider rule number 1. Do whatever you can to get to the main goal. Whether it mean to outwork someone, whatever it is, get to that next level. Because after all, in the end game, it's all about you just win. Just win at life. All right? Keep upgrading yourselves. Keep upgrading your life. And besides that, from Aaron the Q Dog Raider and the rest of Sensei 7, I am KillJS907. We shall catch y'all later. And why don't I go ahead and while I have y'all, might as well. Oh, never mind. The clown music is gone. So we'll catch y'all later.